Thank you, Conrad. We recognize how challenging your experience has been and your dedication to the work. We appreciate everything that you have done, and your courage this evening is amazing, and I know that hasn't been easy for you. And I want to say, too, that Conrad's experience is not that unlike what other people have experienced as well. I think it's when you see it up front and personal, and you can see the impact it's had for someone who's been around for 25 years, who's given everything that he could in federal corrections and delivering those very important programs, we thank you for your service. It's now my distinct pleasure to introduce Maggie Chee, the Parliamentary Secretary for Health. Thank you, Ms. Chee, for being here. We know you were asked to come in place of the Secretary of State for Labor, John Zaricelli, and we very much appreciate that you are here. So, Ms. Chee.
Good evening. Thank you, David, and Conrad, thank you for telling us your story. I'd like to recognize your bravery for relaying to us what happened to you at work. And on behalf of everyone here and so many Canadians, thank you for all you do to keep us safe and continuing your advocacy. And I also want to stress the high stress and chronic strain you've experienced on the job cannot be ignored. All too often, people go to work healthy and they come home with compromised health. Human nature tends to validate what we can see. A fall from the ladder results in a broken bone. Exposure to toxic fume results in lung injury. The burden of proof is there, either on ultrasound or X-rays. But we need to fully recognize what we cannot see with naked eyes. A mental health injury should be taken just as seriously as a broken bone, and no workplace should ever result in compromised health and well-being. We all know about the stigma around mental health. Psychological injury does not come from inherent weakness. We all know that. In the last few decades, we have been doing a better job recognizing how first responders are susceptible to post-traumatic stress injury. Federal public safety personnel deserve the same recognition for psychological injuries. We need to address the necessary changes. So we're looking at our federal legislations, the Government Employees Compensation Act. We're looking at amendments to acknowledge certain mental health disorders can be caused by hazards in the workplace. For federal public safety personnel like Conrad, I want you to know we're working on this. I became a member of parliament because of stories like yours, and I know we can bring about the change needed so that you deserve the necessary care. Your service to the country cannot go unnoticed. As we speak, this issue is before our department. I want you to know we're actively discussing this with the Minister Patty Hajdu, and our policy experts. We want to make sure you and so many like you are better supported. And before I close my remarks, let me say I'm glad to see my colleagues from all sides of the aisle here tonight. Mental health is nonpartisan. PTSI is nonpartisan. Presumptive illnesses is nonpartisan. It affects us all as human beings, as Canadians, not as party members. So thank you, Todd. And I think did I see Claude as well? And Gord, I see Gord here. And of course, thank you again, Conrad, and USJAE for the work that you're doing. You're making sure those who are exposed to danger to their health in the line of duty as they serve this country are given the care and respect they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we are very grateful that you were here this evening, and we appreciate your ongoing support. We can see that you have a very clear understanding of this issue in terms of the real-life stakes for our members, and that you and others have a strong desire to bring about change, and this means a lot to all of us. As you had mentioned for quite some time now, USJAE has been advocating to close a key gap in the federal legislation, the Government Employees Compensation Act. This is to ensure that federal public safety personnel have access to workers' compensation for mental health related injuries, just like first responders in most provinces and territories. The changes that USJAE is seeking would ensure that federal public safety personnel whose mental health can be severely compromised owing to the nature of their work would have presumptive injury entitlements so that they can receive workers' compensation when required and the necessary mental health supports. With this change, many federal public safety personnel who incur a mental health injury would have the opportunity to get better, faster, and return to the workplace healthy and well-equipped for the challenges ahead. If anyone in this room would like more information about the work of our members, the gap in presumptive injury coverage across this country, the legislative changes we are seeking, please find one of us later. And my colleagues and I would be more than happy to discuss this issue with you in greater detail. So now I'm very pleased to introduce the Member of Parliament for Cariboo, Prince George, and Conservative Shadow Minister of Mental Health, Todd Doherty. MP Doherty is the Conservative Shadow Minister for Addictions and is a tireless, compassionate advocate for mental health, particularly for frontline workers. I thank you for sharing your applause with Mr. Doherty already. I just want to let you know, he's not going to like this. I think it's his birthday soon, so we seem to do this 2 years in a row, so I want to wish him a happy birthday for tomorrow.
Thank you, David. Oh, Conrad, your story, I have to apologize to you. I'm going to be just frank with you guys all. First off, for my colleagues that are here, that are members of Parliament, please put up your hand. I appreciate you all for being here today. A lot of you are new. I don't know all your names, but how long have I been coming up here and talking to your at this event? I've been elected 10 years this month, and I continue to hear we're working on it. It's shocking and it's disgusting that whether it's provincial or federal legislators or bureaucrats or governments or whatever can't get this done. And I apologize. I think the more that we stand and talk and share our stories, share your stories about what you go through on a daily basis to serve our country, to keep our country safe, is very important. You know, I've been open about my own battles with PTSD and the challenges that you have. You should not have to relive it over and over and over again. You serve our country each and every day in the work that you do. I'm a sports guy, so I call you the Black Aces, because frontline people couldn't do their job without you. Last year I remarked about the civilian staff at the RCMP detachment that was shot up 3-4 years ago. You know, as a shooter went around the building hunting RCMP members. Those bullets don't discern whether you are an enlisted member or a civilian member. And how traumatic it would be for those employees each and every day to return to that same detachment, that bullet-riddled detachment, years after the Minister of Public Safety and Security promised that those would be fixed. Years after we've had ministers of public safety and security promising that we will do everything we can to help you with your issues or with your dealing with your PTSD and OSI or PTSI, whatever we want to call it. It's frustrating. I apologize. You know, as you relayed your story, Conrad, I kept waiting for and we appealed and we got it through, but it never happened. And I can't imagine how hard it would be just for you to be up here reliving it again today. Time and time again. And for that, I give you, I say a heartfelt thank you for sharing that. Because that bravery is unbelievable. And for you to continue doing what you do. So can we please give, I know he doesn't want this, but a round of applause, please. We have great members of parliament that are in this room today that I know new and old, and I know that they carry the mental health banner each and every day. It truly isn't a partisan issue, which is why I get so angry when I'm frustrated with this. Because you hold out hope that the people across the way or the bureaucrats across the way are truly working in the best interest of all of you and your families. And sadly, 10 years later, of me being here listening to this, it's still not there. So my commitment to you today is I'll continue working. I know we've got great members of parliament that are here. Gord Johns is here as well, Frank Caputo in the back, and we've got just a ton of MPs that are here. We'll work collaboratively to make sure that message gets to the minister and the parliamentary secretary that, unfortunately, as we all have to do when we do these things, jet off to another meeting. It's sad, and I apologize for being frustrated. I appreciate the birthday wishes. You got me again. But it is an honor to be with you all here today. I personally, I can't say thank you enough for what you do, and hopefully you can see I wear my heart on my sleeve, and it's not lost on me the work that you do and this, the effort that you put forth, and the fact that we are failing you. And so we will work collaboratively across all party lines to make sure that we can get that legislation through, hopefully in this parliament. Thank you.
So thank you for your genuine commitment and dedication to USJE. You've been a steadfast ally, and we're very moved by your continued support. And I noticed you didn't use your notes. I don't know why they give me notes, probably because I go off too long. But thank you so much for being here. Claudia?
Merci, député de Hostie. J'ai maintenant le plaisir d'accueillir Madame Claude de Bellefeuille, vice-présidente du Comité de la sécurité publique et députée. Oui, parfait. Alors, bonsoir tout le monde. Bonsoir tout le monde. Donc, comme je suis probablement une unique francophone dans la salle, j'ai mon interprète ici à côté qui va vous traduire mon message parce que je suis vraiment touchée et privilégiée de me retrouver avec vous ce soir et doublement touchée par votre témoignage qui illustre, dans le fond, que qu'importe le poste qu'on occupe, un traumatisme est un traumatisme. Et tous les travailleurs devraient être soutenus et traités de la même manière. Et ce que je comprends, c'est qu'actuellement, il y a une discrimination, une iniquité. Et pour moi, qui est travailleuse sociale, je trouve ça complètement injuste que vous n'ayez pas ce que vous avez besoin pour passer à travers un traumatisme.
J'attendais la pause. I was waiting for the break. So as she's saying, she's aware that a lot of members here are unilingual Anglophones, so she wanted to ensure that her message would get across. Very privileged and honored to be here on behalf of the Bloc Québécois this evening, representing her party. Also, she thanked Conrad for sharing his personal story, which was moving. I believe you said you were a social worker from profession.
Yeah.
So she's aware that these kind of trauma can have on people's lives. I think that's the best I could sum up, so we'll continue to the next.
Merci beaucoup, Sébastien. Vous savez, on parle de traumatisme pour un événement, mais un traumatisme aussi peut se bâtir à force de voir et de travailler chaque jour et de voir des situations difficiles, d'arriver à la maison, de travailler, d'avoir un patron qui ne comprend pas notre surcharge. On bâtit tranquillement pas vite un traumatisme et vient un moment où nos problèmes de santé mentale apparaissent.
Mm-hmm. Ouais. Alors, comme qu'a dit, trauma, it's because of an event, right? But you can also, it builds over time. It's a difficult situation. And unfortunately, oftentimes, managers don't understand the workload, and workload can create an issue. But, you know, trauma can take time, it can build, and then it results into mental health issues.
Alors, quand on vient qu'on éclate, c'est difficile de faire reconnaître par notre employeur que c'est notre travail qui cause notre blessure ou qui cause notre souffrance ou qui cause notre mauvais fonctionnement au travail. Et en plus de souffrir, il faut convaincre notre employeur que la cause de notre souffrance, c'est le travail, la surcharge et la non-reconnaissance de notre travail.
Oui, ça fait, when we explode, basically, it's hard to recognize that the work is enabling this problem. And that's the issue, because you will tell your manager, listen, I'm having this post-traumatic stress disorder, all these mental health issues because of work, yet my manager won't even recognize that it's because of work that I'm facing these mental health issues. And that's why we suffer.
Alors aujourd'hui, je suis heureuse d'être avec vous et pour vous dire surtout que pour ma formation politique, on est une voix pour vous, pour les travailleurs, pour accueillir vos demandes et être capable de la porter, soit au comité de la sécurité publique et la porter aussi dans nos campagnes. Alors, vous allez utiliser, j'espère, notre voix pour vous défendre parce que ce qu'on entend aujourd'hui et ce que je sais depuis que je suis porte-parole, il y a des choses intolérables qu'il faut changer. Et comme mon collègue l'a dit, les paroles ne suffisent plus, il faut passer à l'action. Alors, vous pouvez compter sur le Bloc québécois pour porter votre voix à la Chambre des communes.
Alors, comme toujours, le Bloc québécois est oh, sorry, it's just... And as a francophone, it's so nice to speak French, right? So we're cousin, Acadian and Bloc québécois. So she's just reiterating that the Bloc québécois has always been a voice for labor, would be able to amplify USG's message on the campaign. She also serves on the Public Safety Committee, so if there's any way we can assist her in grilling the minister or giving them data, they will do that. She wants us to use the Bloc québécois as a voice to defend USGE and the presumptive injury campaign. Like she's mentioned, like it's been mentioned by various MPs, things are intolerable and things must change. We need action, and we can count on the Bloc québécois for their support for this campaign. So, Madame Claude de Bellefeuille, merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Thank you very much.
Merci, Député de Bellefeuille. I am now pleased to welcome Gord Johns, MP for Courtenay, Alberni, British Columbia, and the NDP's mental health critic.
Oh, thank you, David and Fadia. And it's good to be on the unceded lands of the Anishinaabe and Algonquin people. Conrad, thanks. You know, for your service, for the courage you showed tonight, and you've shown throughout this whole process. You're fighting for so many people, and you know that. There was a gentleman that Michael Perry. I don't know if you know Michael Perry. He's one of you, and he just got recognized for a workplace award, fighting for workplace supports, and at the Canadian Alliance on Mental Health and Illness Awards just this week, and talked about the failure of the system to protect workers and his advocacy. And clearly, we need to do more, as Todd talked about that. And you know, I know this stat really sticks with me, that if workers aren't supported when they've been injured, and they don't return to work within 12 months, they have a 1% chance of returning to work. That stat we have to change. That's unacceptable in a country like Canada. So it's an honor to be with you to mark World Mental Health Day, to carry your message. I want to thank you for coming to Parliament Hill to share your realities of your jobs and the working conditions you face. I want to also, thank you for letting me say a few words on behalf of the NDP caucus. Jenny Kwan's not here, our public safety critic. She's had a loss in her family, but she's an ally and I am, and our whole caucus is. And it's one thing to talk about justice and public safety, but it's another thing to be on the front lines like you are. Your members perform an incredible service to the public, helping keep people safe and maintain our trust in our justice system. You're tasked with upholding the safety and dignity of everyone who comes into contact with justice and correction systems. Whether you're keeping folks safe while they're in custody, keeping the institutions where inmates live clean and providing meals, working as RCMP civilian employees in forensics, admin, IT support, or 911 dispatcher, working in our community with people on parole, USJE members bring an incredible range of skills and perform essential jobs for our country. And as politicians, it's our job to ensure that you have what you need to do your job effectively. And that includes taking steps to protect the health and wellness of the workers, like you, Conrad, and everybody here. The government needs to do everything possible to reduce the risks of injuries on the job. And when workers get hurt on the job, they deserve support and compensation. Workers should be able to focus on their recovery without worrying about making ends meet. And they should not be forced to return to work before they are ready. Federal public safety workers should absolutely have access to workers' compensation for mental health related injuries. This is a gap in the Government Employees Compensation Act that needs to be fixed now. USJE, along with PSAC, have been at the forefront of pushing for this change. And as New Democrats, we're 100% behind you on this. My excellent former colleague Peter Julian tabled legislation in the last Parliament on this issue, Bill C-357. Today, we're calling on the Minister of Public Safety and the Minister of Justice to ensure that this bill is reintroduced in this Parliament as a government bill. Not waiting for a private member's bill. This needs to be a government bill, and we're calling on all parties to work together to move it forward as soon as possible. So we count on you to keep our community safe. You have our backs. We need to have your backs too. You need to be able to count on your government to support you if you get injured, full stop. And I'm sorry I have to leave, but I'm supposed to have spoken opening an event 20 minutes ago. But the NDP welcomes the chance to do whatever we can to support you. We're a partner and an ally and with USGE, and we welcome the chance to do whatever we can to support you and bring in this essential worker protection for all federal public safety workers. No more waiting, let's get it done. Okay, thanks.
So thank you very much, MP Johns. We really appreciate you being here this evening as well and sharing your support with USJE and our members across this country. I also want to do some other quick acknowledgements before I bring this to a close. I want to thank, is he here? MP Frank Caputo, thank you so much. Conservative from Kamloops. What was it, Kamloops? Tom, thank you. And he was able to secure this room for us, so we very much appreciate that. And we appreciate all of your interactions and your support for USJE members as well. I'm going to do a little shameless plug for my own riding as well. Elmwood Transcona, anybody know where that is? Yes. Okay, some people do, some people do. I know where it is, that's where my family lives, in the northeast side of Winnipeg. My member of parliament, Conservative member of parliament, Colin Reynolds, is here as well. He's a first-time elected member of parliament. He's already been to prison. I took him there. And we both got out. And I just want to say I thank you so much for being here this evening as well. He's been very open to listening about our presumptive injury campaign as well. He does have a union background as well, and it's something that I feel a special bond with, so thank you for that. Is there anything else I had to say thank you to? I need to say thank you to the USJE National Health and Safety Committee. A lot of the members are still here in the room, and I thank you so much for all the work that you're doing on this presumptive injury campaign. This is going to mean a lot for our members, should this ever be able to get taken across the finish line. We hear a lot of good support across parties, and we know that when we bring members of parliament into our workplace, they see what we're doing, they understand what we're doing, and I think they see why these changes are so necessary. So As Canada's Parliament works towards improving mental health awareness and access to services, it really is encouraging to see the support for our public safety and justice employees here this evening. Your presence really speaks volumes, and your support goes a long way to getting these changes to the federal legislation across that finish line. So thank you so much for being here. I hope that you'll take the time to enjoy the refreshments. And I know that one of the things that we were planning to do was to try to throw the baseball game up afterwards. I don't know why. But we were hoping that if you could stick around, we'd love to talk to you, chat with you about the work of our members and the presumptive injury campaign. And for the members of Parliament, we plan to be in Parliament tomorrow afternoon. We've given you some presumptive injury buttons. We would ask that you wear them if you can into Parliament. I believe that we are going to have a statement made in Parliament as well around this campaign. And thank you so much for doing that for us and for our members across this country. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you will stick around and enjoy a little bit more. Thank you.